Greetings, here we are with another delightful video. This time I'm going to do the unboxing, a fresh unboxing of Star Wars Age of Rebellion beginner game from Fantasy Flight / Edge Studios. This is the Edge Studios version of the game. It was originally owned by Fantasy Flight and then they sold it off to Edge Studios. If you do not want to buy the specialty dice for this game system, there is a dice app on the Apple Store as well as the Google Play Store, which has all the specialty dice. What is contained in this? That is the basic overview of the book, little nice artwork in the back, and then right here is the little list of what's contained in it. It contains one adventure book, one rule book, one introduction sheet, one map, 4 character folios, 14 custom dice, 8 destiny tokens, 33 character tokens, and 7 vehicle tokens. So, this is one of those things where I complain about the custom dice. However, if you want, you can watch the previous video in the Star Wars role-playing collection, which is also the unboxing of Edge of the Empire, beginner game. And I show off the custom dice a bit more, and they're actually quite interesting. There's 2 types of custom dice for TTRPGs. Actually 3. There's actually you just simply change the icon on the die, and say like it's a 6 or a 1 that you change into a symbol, or some other number like the D20. It's a D20 and you have just a different symbol on the D20, on the number 20 or number 1. Those kinds of things only add complication to the TTRPG. It's a complete parasitic addition of unnecessary thing to a TTRPG. And please, game designers and developers, please absolutely stop doing that. Do not promote that to your bigwigs in your company, as that is an annoying thing, and that immediately puts a barrier on a lot of players who want to play a TTRPG, because now they have to learn what this symbol does, and because it's an extra thing extra symbol they have to learn, then it annoys them. Then you have the other one, the second category, where they replace all the dice numbers with symbols. And this is also fairly annoying in itself, particularly if you can simply just convert all these symbols to numbers. But it makes a bit more sense because you're changing the level of odds. And you can have combination symbols, like you can have 2 of this symbol on a die, or just 1 of those on it. And each one of those symbols means a different thing, but you can also have combination symbols where you have 1 symbol and another symbol. So you have a combination situation, or completely blank faces. So this is interesting. It makes a bit more sense, but it's still annoying. The annoying category of dice, which basically means you have to buy these dice, which is nice that because they include a dice app that's $4.99 on the Google Play Store and the Amazon on the Google Play Store and the iOS Store. It might not be $4.99 on the Apple Store, but I do know it's $4.99 on the Google Play Store. But that is annoying. And then there's the third category of specialty dice, which are odd numbered side dice, like 5s and 7s, a D24 and a D14. Those are mildly annoying, but they're still usable. You can buy them online perfectly fine. You look up Dungeon Crawl Classics, and those are perfectly fine. So there you go. We happen to have a nice selection of symbols all over these dice. These dice are compatible between all 4 of the different Star Wars role-playing games from Edge Studios. Please note that the 4th one, The Force Awakens, is literally just a beginner game. There is no other books or products for it. So that's completely a dead end. Apparently, The Force Awakens was so bad that it killed off an entire line of TTRPGs as it was literally starting. So what you have is you got the dice, enough dice for 2 or 3 players to play. However, if you were to buy all 3 or all 4 of these beginner games, you end up with enough dice for all your players. Then we have all the stuff inside here, and then with the spacer in there. Weirdly enough, they can actually reduce the size of the box by substantially by simply just removing the extra piece of cardboard in there. Or just thinning it out and just have just enough box to hold the dice as well. But then we have, this is the introduction page. It's very nice that they include read this first on here. And it basically goes over the basic gist of the Star Wars role-playing game system from Fantasy Flight and Edge Studios. And the basic intro to it. The Age of Rebellion is basically centralized around the Rebellion. Playing as the Rebellion and through there. Each one of these systems, Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, Force and Destiny, and Force Awakens, has a unique extra mechanic in them, like team allegiance, the duty system in Age of Rebellion, or other systems in the other system. But it is a singular system that is different between all of them, that adds on top of everything else. Essentially like the World of Darkness systems, except less complex. You happen to have all the essential rules in this first book that walks you into how to use the dice, the mats, and everything else in the system, how to use the book, and so forth. This book is predominantly just for the Game Master, for the first and foremost. And it walks you through it, and as you go through it, you eventually get to the section on the adventure. And overall, the adventure is just long enough that it gives you a good, solid foundation of how to play the system. There are TTRPGs that have beginner boxes or starter sets or stuff like that, where the adventures are so short that your party essentially doesn't get enough opportunity to use all their abilities. And then there's some TTRPGs that have substantially long ones or reasonably long ones. And this is one of the few times where I actually will say something really nice about Wizards of the Coast and their 5th edition starter set essentials kit and so forth. Those adventures are long enough to firmly enjoy as a mini campaign in themselves. And this is still also fairly long enough that is actually solidly enjoyable. But there are some TTRPGs where I've come across that have such short adventures or campaigns in them that they're not even really a one-shot in themselves. You have a nice variety of characters for the game system as well. Their name and their role is in here. This is a standard format they use with pretty much all the Star Wars role-playing games from Edge Studios. However, each system has their own class system. So you have a spy, you have an ace, you have an engineer, which is a nice variety, and a soldier. Where the Edge of the Empire has mercenary, freelancer, and a bunch of others on top of that. This is a nice little extra sheet right here that advertises for all 3 of the main systems. The 4th one is not on here. It's pointless because I don't even own the 4th one. You can hardly find it online, but there's hardly any point in buying it because it has no support. Where these systems have a dozen or 2 dozen books tied to them, plus several small campaigns with them, particularly Age of Rebellion and Force and Destiny. This is a very nice quality glue back book, where the first book was actually a saddle staple, so they got both types of the cheap books. However, these are starter sets and you're not going to page through them extensively. The only big problem with the saddle, the glue spine one, is that the glue spine will eventually dry out, and the pages will eventually start becoming loose. The saddleback staple one is basically if you open and close it way too many times, eventually the staples wear out because you're flexing the pages and it falls apart. You happen to have tokens, as you've seen before, for various enemies and characters in the system. Front and back is the same thing. And you happen to have a nice map that contains Whisper Base, which is your location your adventure starts in, and the overall map for the region, as well as the launch pad and the comms tower. So there you go. I presume, I guess this might actually be a base you invade, not your home base. But you can use it as a home base once you defeat it and take it over. But anyways, overall, I really like this set. The only thing I wish that was included in this set... Oh, by the way, it's important to note that on the back of all the books, or in all the character folios, there's always a key for all the dice. And the character folios actually explain the mechanics in which the character uses and numbers them. So you can easily learn the system. And every set of pages has a key for the dice. If you are going to do a custom dice system, always have the key for the dice occur frequently throughout all the books. But back to my point is that this is actually very well set up. They do put a good amount of effort in putting reminders for the key mechanics for the system in numerous places. That makes it very easy for people to figure out, what dice do I need? Oh, there's the key right there on the back of the book or right on my character sheet. There you go. The whole point of a beginner game or starter set or a beginner box is to teach people how to play your system. And you have to start from they have no freaking clue how to play your system, a presumption. And in the case of, I had to give points to Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons & Dragons, they do a really good job of it. Chaosium does a really good job of it. Some other companies... this Edge Studio / Fantasy Flight does a good job of it, explaining and giving you the stuff. There are companies who have beginner sets or starter sets, and the starter set basically gives you the absolute bare minimum or slightly less than you need to understand how to play the system. And that's a really sad and annoying thing. In the case of this system, I say it's a 3.75 star system, beginner box. It would be easily in the 4-star range if it had a Game Master screen that contained all the essential rules. Even if it's just one of those hard... If it was just a hard construction paper type Game Master screen, like what was in the Essentials kit, where you just simply pull it out and fold it down. If it was something like the Essentials kit for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, where, I forgot I had tons of stuff in there. But even if it was just something simple like this one, where it's just a bare minimum construction paper or Game Master screen for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, that would be good, because you have all the essential rules on the inside for the Game Master to run the system. And it's not requiring them to flip through the book multiple times to find a mechanic, because you have to keep in mind that when you're making a starter set or beginner box for the players, you might also have a Game Master who has never ran that system before. and they need all the help they can get. And the easier you onboard the game master, the easier the game master can onboard the players to the system. So there you go. I do say that this is pretty good overall. It would be also handy if you had like cards or something that had rules mechanics on it for general stuff. But generally you have that also in your character sheets as well. It would be also nice if there was more dice in here, because this is a custom dice system. But still, the thing that truly is needed the most is literally the Game Master screen. And that would be really nice. So, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it and subscribe. If you want to see more of these videos, that will also help you out by hitting the bell icon in the on the screen to definitely get your notifications, and making sure you can receive notifications on your device or your computer. I cover a lot of different TTRPG systems on my channel. It ranges anywhere from something like this to OSR stuff, near OSR stuff, big stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, Shadowrun, Call of Cthulhu, and many, many more products. And I also have piles and piles of third-party stuff to go through to show off. Just page through my YouTube channel, and you will find dozens. You'll find over 1,000 videos on different systems or different rules mechanics on my channel. So go there. Thank you very much for watching. Have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful weekend, a magnificent month, and see you next time. Ciao.